Hello student, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Dr. Ajit Jaiswal from Department of Anthropology, Pondicherry Central University, Puducherry. Today we are going to discuss about a modules called as Ecology and Ecosystems under paper Human Growth, Development and Nutrition. So student, let us see what we are going to learn in this module. This module focuses on the basic concept of ecosystem. The study of these modules enable the student at postgraduate level to understand the principal steps and component in a self-sufficient ecosystem. These modules also discuss about the important concept of food chain, food web and energy flow in an ecosystem. Let's discuss about the introductory information about what is ecology and ecosystem. Ecology is concerned with the study of interrelationship between organisms and their environment. There is two distinct components of environment can be identified. One is abiotic, another is biotic. Abiotic is also called as non-living or non-organic, sometimes called the physical environment. And the biotic component, which is also called as living or organic. These two components are however very much interdependent, and sometimes it becomes difficult to separate biotic component from the abiotic one, especially when environment is looked at as factor for determining man's biology and culture. So, ecology is purely scientific discipline which aims to understand the relationship between organisms and their wider environment. Like any science, the outcome of ecological studies do not dictate ethical or potential action. It is important to make this distinction because the environmental movement has endowed the word ecology with political connotation. It is right that ecology should inform politics, but as a student of ecology, it is imperative to consider ecological research from a rigorous scientific viewpoint.
Ecosystem. The term ecosystem was proposed by a British ecologist A.G. Tansley in the year 1935. The ecosystem represents the basic functional unit of ecology, which comprises of the biotic communities mutually related with their non-living or abiotic environment. Thus, a biotic community and its abiotic environment together represent an ecosystem. Ecosystem therefore includes both the living organism, that is biotic community, and the non-living environment, that is abiotic environment, which are inseparably interrelated and interact upon each other. This statement was explained by Tansley in 1935. Odum has defined the ecosystem as the basic fundamental unit of ecology, which includes both the organism and the non-living environment, each influencing the properties of the other, and each is necessary for the maintenance of life. According to Mathwan in 1974, he has given another definition of ecosystem, according to which ecosystem is the sum total of living organisms, the environment, and the processes of interaction between the various components of the system. The concept of ecosystem can be best illustrated by the fact that holozoic animals cannot synthesize or produce their food and depend upon plants either directly or indirectly. Even plants, which are capable of synthesizing their own food, depend upon the abiotic environment from which they receive light, water, carbon dioxide, and mineral salt, and other inorganic and organic substances of absolute necessity for the synthesis of food. The organic substances and some of the inorganic components are accumulated in the soil by the dead and the decaying organism and the excreta of living individuals.
Now let's discuss about the principal steps and component in a self-sufficient ecosystem. The principal step in the operation of an ecosystem, it depends upon few important features like source of energy, which is called as reception of energy. Next important feature is manufacture of organic food by producer. Then third point is the consumption of organic material by consumer. Next important step is decomposition into inorganic compounds, and finally transformation of this compound into suitable compound for the nutrition of the producer. So there is a continuously chain like reaction is there, chain like transmission of energy, transmission of foodstuff, transmission of material take place from energy source or from sunlight till the producers or till the consumers or till the decomposer or till on the further reformation. So in the operation of an ecosystems, these steps not only involve the production, growth and death of the living component, but also influence the non-living environment of the habitat. So we can clearly see the relationship between essential component, non-essential component. We can see the relationship between the environmental features like light and other important features which is called as a non-living component like nutrient. We can see the relationship between the producer in the form of green plant, from the producers how the material energy nutrient transfer to herbivores, from herbivores to either to carnivores or parasitic animals or to scavengers and ultimately to saprophytes. So we will see the complete direct relationship which shows that there is some group of animals which known to be the producers and others group of animals which is known to be the consumers. So there is a direct transmission of material take place from non-living component to the living component and vice versa. Similarly, we will see the relationship between the green plant, decomposers and transformers. So overall the complete chain of relationship, complete transmission of relationship can be explained in the concept of ecology and ecosystem.
From a purely functional point of view, Odum in 1968 has divided an ecosystem into two components, that is autotrophic component and heterotrophic component. Autotrophic component, it consists of green plant, brings about the fixation of solar energy, that is sunlight, and synthesis of organic compound, that is carbohydrate, from simple inorganic substances, whereas heterotrophic component consists of decomposers, that is microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi, which are concerned with the utilization, rearrangement and degradation of complex food substances. But from structural point of view, the ecosystem has been divided into four components, like first one is abiotic substances, second producer, third composer, and fourth is decomposer. Let's discuss about the first component, that is abiotic substances. The non-living or abiotic substances of an ecosystem include basic organic material such as water, carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphate, etc. and their components such as nitrate, carbonate, phosphate, etc. These occur either free in nature or in the form of compounds dissolved in water in the soil. Some of them are recycled by the action of microorganisms on the dead bodies of plants and animals. Next component, producers. These are the autotrophic members of the ecosystem, that is, the green plant, which are capable of synthesizing food from the non-living simple inorganic compounds. In an ecosystem, the producers may be represented by the small microscopic plants, that is, the phytoplankton and the algae, or the rooted or large floating plants generally growing in shallow water only. The phytoplanktons are distributed throughout the pond and as deep as light could penetrate the water. These are found in all waters, but the large size are of different types in different ecosystems. The grasses are found in the grassland, trees in the forest, floating plants in pond water and lakes. Next component is consumer. These are heterotrophic organisms which are called as macro-consumers or phagotrophs. These consume the producers directly or indirectly. The herbivores are the primary consumers in the ecosystem. These solely feed upon vegetation or plants. Like a deer or rabbit is a primary consumer in a forest and a rat in the gardens. Protozoan, crustaceans and mollusks are the primary consumer of the pond or lake or sea and feed upon the floating algae. Insects, rodents and ruminants are the major herbivores of a terrestrial environment. The primary consumers form the food of the primary carnivores or secondary consumers. The primary carnivores or the omnivorous animals constitute the category of secondary consumers. These feed upon the herbivorous animals like the wolves, dogs, cats, foxes, etc. The secondary carnivores or the animals which feed upon the carnivorous animals are the tertiary consumers. For example, lions, which feed upon the wolves, cattle, deer, etc. are the secondary carnivores. The carnivores have been called biophores by Weigert and Owen. Next component is decomposers. The microorganisms like bacteria and molds are decomposers of the ecosystem. These feed upon dead, decaying living organisms, both plants and animals, and break them into simpler compounds. These are released free in the atmosphere and are utilized by the producer of the synthesis of their food material. Clark has recognized a fifth category in the ecosystem, which is composed of transformers. These act upon the decomposed substances and transform them into different forms of inorganic or organic substances. The nomenclature of ecosystem. As I already told you that from the structural point of view, the ecosystem has been divided into four components like abiotic substances, producer, composer, decomposer. And Clark has recognized a fifth category, that is transformer. So the terrestrial ecosystems are named after the type of organism and habitat conditions such as cropland ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, forest ecosystem, and desert ecosystem. Similarly, freshwater ecosystem are named as pond ecosystem, lake ecosystem, and river ecosystem, etc. The largest and most uniform ecosystem is marine ecosystem. The seas, estuaries, seashore, streams, river, lake, ponds, desert, grassland, and forest are the major ecosystem of the world.
Now let's discuss about the food chain. The ecosystem is characterized by the energy flow and the circulation of material through its members. In other words, the different organisms of an ecosystem, that is plant and animals, are linked together by their nutritional requirement. Individuals related in this manner constitute a food chain. A food chain can therefore be defined as a group of organisms in which there is a transfer of food energy through a series of repeated eating and being eaten.
Graphic representation of simple food chain in ecosystem. The ecosystem is characterized by the energy flow and the circulation of material through its members. In other words, the different organisms of an ecosystem, that is plant and animals, are linked together by their nutritional requirements. Individuals related in this manner constitute a food chain. A food chain therefore be defined as a group of organisms in which there is a transfer of food energy through a series of repeated eating and being eaten take place. The primary source of energy is sun, but the solar energy is not utilized by all groups of organisms. Green plants alone are able to trap the solar energy, which they use to reduce carbon from carbon dioxide, and this carbon forms carbohydrates, fats, and protein, which is known to be the fuel of life. The energy trapped in this component is stored in the plant and forms the primary source of energy supply to all other living organisms. Autotrophic plants are therefore known as producers. In the animal community, the plant-eating animals are herbivores. These are the primary consumers. The herbivores are fed upon by secondary consumers, which may include carnivores, that is, flesh-eating animals, or omnivores, that is, feeding on mixed diet. The number of steps in a food chain is limited to 4 or 5, and each step or transfer in the chain, a large proportion of the potential energy is lost as heat. This means that the shorter food chain, the greater will be the biomass that can be supported with a given basic source of potential food energy. Since the food chain with fewer number of links are transferred will prove to be the most efficient.
Now let's discuss about the various types of food chain. There are 3 types of food chain. First, the predator food chain, second the parasitic food chain, and third one is the saprophytic food chain. The sequence of various food chain in the terrestrial ecosystem may be represented as follows. Like in the case of cropland, there is a producer which is known to be the crop plant. From there, the energy food biomass is transferred to grasshoppers and rodent, and ultimately grasshoppers and rodents were eaten by snakes and other lizards, and ultimately the snakes and lizards were consumed by hawk. So there is a continuous flow of in transmission of energy take place from producer to hawk. Similarly, in the case of grassland, the producers are known to be the grasses, and the grasses were eaten by grazers like deer, cattle, and ultimately the vegetarian or herbivores were eaten by a lion like carnivores, which is known to be the either primary consumer or secondary consumers. Similarly, in the case of forest ecosystems, the energy is transferred from tree to aphids, and ultimately from aphids to spiders, and from spiders to small birds, and ultimately birds were eaten by hawk. So the energy from the tree is ultimately transferred to the hawk. So this complete three important sequences explain the food chain in the terrestrial ecosystems and explain the concept of food chain.
Food web. As a matter of fact, the food chain are not isolated sequences but are interconnected with one another. For example, man and many other organisms are at the same time herbivores and carnivores, and hence occupy different trophic levels in the food chain. There may be several carnivores also with overlapping tree types. This trophic relationship between organisms of an ecosystem is not always in a simple chain-like fashion, but it forms a complicated network. Furthermore, different types of food chain interact upon each other. This interlocking pattern of several food chains is known as food web. Thus, food web may be defined as the relationship in which a predator eats several types of food, and every kind of food is eaten by many different organisms and is the outcome of the interaction between different types of food chain. Trophic level and ecological pyramids. First one is the trophic level. Each successive level of nourishment as represented by the links of food chain is known as a trophic level. The plant producers within an ecosystem constitute the first trophic level. The herbivores form the second trophic level, and the carnivores represent the third level. Additional link in the main food chain and inside chain, such as those formed by parasites, constitute further trophic levels. Now let's discuss about ecological pyramids. Ecological pyramids represent the trophic structure and also the trophic function of an ecosystem. In an ecological pyramid, the first trophic level forms the base and successive trophic levels, the tiers, which make up the apex. Ecological pyramids may be of three general types, as explained by Park in 1936. First one is pyramid of number, second pyramid of biomass, third pyramid of energy. Now let's discuss about pyramid of numbers. It represents the numerical relationship between different trophic levels of a food chain. In such a pyramid, the more abundant species form the base of pyramid and the less abundant species remain near the top. The pyramid of numbers can be best understood by taking lake or gross length as an example. Pyramid of biomass. The biomass, that is the living weight of the organism of the food chain present at any time in an ecosystem, forms the pyramid of biomass. The pyramid of biomass indicates the decrease or gradual reduction in biomass at each trophic level from the base to apex. However, in the case of pyramid of energy, it indicates the total energy at each trophic level of the food chain. It also exhibits that at each trophic level, loss of energy and materials takes place as the processes of assimilation and growth are not 100% efficient. Thus, at the producer level, the total energy available is more than at the higher trophic level because of the loss of energy from one trophic level to the other. This means that the organic matter produced per average unit of time and the energy represented by it becomes less at each trophic level. The production rate of energy at different trophic levels of an ecosystem can be represented by the pyramid of energy. The base of such a pyramid is represented by the autotrophs, that is, the green plant, and the higher level are represented by different herbivore and carnivore trophic levels. Energy flow in an ecosystem. The existence of living world depends upon the flow of energy and circulation of material through the ecosystem. The energy is required for the performance of all the life activities. The source of this energy is sun. The solar energy enters the space in the form of light rays. Approximately 57% of solar energy is absorbed in the atmosphere and scattered in space. About 36% are expended in heating water and land and in evaporating water. Nearly 8% of light energy strikes the plant, of which 80 to 85% is absorbed, and only 15% of it is utilized in photosynthesis. This energy is captured by plant and is stored in the form of potential energy in foodstuffs. These are known as producers and represent first trophic level in the ecosystem. The energy stored by the plant is passed along through the community or ecosystem in a chain. A food chain consists of maximum 4 states, that is, the producer, the primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. The energy flow from the producer to consumer at each transfer a large proportion, that is nearly about 80 to 90% of potential energy is dissipated as heat produced during the process of respiration and other ways. The energy flow through an ecosystem can be represented diagrammatically in a simplified manner. In the figure, the box represents the trophic level and the pipes depict the energy flow in and out at each level. Only about half the average light energy impinging upon the green plant is absorbed in the photosynthetic machinery, out of which 1 to 5% is converted into food energy, and the rest of it passes out as heat in the atmosphere. Energy accumulated by plants or the producers in an ecosystem is called primary production and is represented by capital PG or capital A. And the energy left after respiration and stored as organic matter in the producers is the net primary production, which is represented by capital P and small n. Net primary production actually represents food potentially available to primary consumer which feed upon plants. The primary consumer therefore take in chemical potential energy in the form of food plant. Most of it dissipates in the form of heat which produced during respiration and is lost out of the ecosystem. Only a small part of the energy is fixed in the form of chemical potential energy in the protoplasm. The same process is repeated at the secondary consumer, that is the primary carnivore level, and so on. Therefore, at each step in the transfer of energy from one trophic level to another, a large amount of energy is degraded into heat and never returned back to the ecosystem. In this transformation of energy to ecosystem, the energy is reduced in magnitude by about 100 from primary consumer to plant consumer and by 10 for each step thereafter. Primary productivity of an ecosystem or community is defined as the rate at which the radiant energy is stored by photosynthetic and chemosynthetic activity of producers organisms, mainly green plants, in the form of organic substances which can be used as food materials. There are four successive steps in the production processes such as gross primary productivity, second net primary productivity, third net community productivity, and fourth is secondary productivity. Gross primary productivity is the total energy stored in the food materials synthesized by the green plant or total rate of photosynthesis including the organic matter used up in the respiration during total photosynthesis or total assimilation, whereas net primary productivity, the total gross productivity minus the energy used upon in the metabolic process. In other words, we can say that it is the rate of storage of organic matter in plant in excess of the organic matter utilized in respiration by the plants during the measurement period. This is also called apparent photosynthesis or net assimilation. Net community productivity is the rate of storage of organic matter is not used by heterotrophs during the period under consideration, usually the growing season of the year. This is not primary production minus heterotrophic consumption, where the last one, that is secondary productivity, is the rate of energy storage at consumer level are referred to as secondary productivity. So, there are three fundamental aspects of productivity. First, standing crops, second, material removed, and third, production rate.
When we discuss about the balance within the ecosystem, there is a changes which occur in ecosystems over a geological time span are made by evolutionary changes resulting from natural selection. Those changes that occur naturally as a result of normal successions are made by changes in species makeup of the communities involved. The ecosystem always makes efficient use of the available energy within the limitations of the physical environment, whether artificially or naturally caused. Changes are made by the adjustment of the species present or creation and filling of a new ecological niche by species which are new to the ecosystem. At population and community level of organizations, control result from the many intraspecific and interspecific relationship. So, now let us try to find out what are the important points that we have discussed in this particular modules. We have already discussed that ecology is concerned with the study of interrelationship between organisms and their environment. It is purely scientific discipline which aims to understand the relationship between organisms and their wider environment. The term ecology or ecosystem was proposed by a British ecologist called A.G. Tansley in the year 1935. Odum has defined the ecosystem as the basic fundamental unit of ecology, which include both the organism and the non-living environment. The non-living or abiotic substances of an ecosystem include basic inorganic materials such as water, carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium and phosphate, etc. So we also discuss about the producers which are known to be the autotrophic member of the ecosystem, consumers which are known to be the heterotrophic organisms which are called as macro consumers or phagotrophs. The microorganisms like bacteria and molds are known to be the decomposers of the ecosystem. We also discuss about the ecosystem is characterized by energy flow and the circulation of material through its members. The predator and the parasite food chain start with herbivores. We also discuss about the saprophytic food chain exhibits transfer of energy from dead organisms, organic matter of decaying animal and plant bodies to microorganisms. As a matter of fact, the food chains are not isolated sequence but are interconnected with one another. So, each successive level of nourishment as represented by the link of the food chain is known as a trophic level. We also discuss about the ecological pyramid which represent the trophic structure and also the trophic function of an ecosystem. The changes which occur in ecosystems over a geological time spans are made by evolutionary changes resulting from natural selection. So, ultimately we have seen the relationship between biotic, abiotic environment, living component, non-living component, transfer of energy from environment to ultimately producer, consumer, decomposer and so on. This research is very important for us to understand, to give importance to all these factors. Thank you.